to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles. On this special tribute podcast, Tuesday the 18th of June, my guest will be looking back at the career of Arsenal and Everton legend Kevin Campbell, who sadly passed away aged 54 on Saturday. Just to mention, Elevate Events presents an exclusive evening on Friday, August 9th, featuring 3 Arsenal legends, as Liam Brady will tell you now.
Hi Arsenal fans, Elevate Events are putting on 2 great shows in August, one in Dublin and one in Cork, and it's an Arsenal show. We have Paul Merson, a great player from the 80s, we have Ray Parlour, a great player from the 90s. And to ask us the questions about Arsenal and all things football is Darrell Breen. He's a gooner as well. So come along to these shows, I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
So sit back and enjoy the show. On tonight's special show, I'm joined by avid gooners, starting off with Arsenal first. Eamonn Donnelly, how are you, Eamonn?
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Richie. Evening, Matt there. Supposed to be on the RTA panel there. But they got Richie sat there instead. Kenny Cunningham on a play high on up the pitch. High on. They even have women on there. Wouldn't happen in my day.
We might have to edit that piece out. He's getting the ringer for Kenny Cunningham every year, the shaven head alone. I'm also joined by another shaven head legend in Matt Bourne. How are you, Matt?
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate that. Yeah. All good, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sad, very, very sad our last couple of days. Very sad news, but let's do a little tribute to him now.
Yeah. I'm also joined by an avid Evertonian. He was better known, Kevin Campbell, to Everton fans as Super Kev, but thanks for coming along, Richie Wright. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Jonathan. As Matt was saying there, very sad occasion, but sure, yeah, we give him a good send off.
Just want to throw out a few stats before we get the memories from my 3 guests. Who would know him a lot better than I would, and probably have seen him in the flesh back in the day. Kevin, he was born on February 4th, 1970 in Lambeth in London. Kevin won a league title, the FA Cup, League Cup and European Cup Winners' Cup over a 4-year period from 1990 to 1994. His Arsenal record stood at 228 appearances, scoring 59 goals. Kevin signed for Everton in 1999 on loan, originally from Turkish side Trabzonspor, and scored 9 goals in 8 appearances, which were vital in keeping Everton up. He would sign permanently in that summer and would stay till 2005, where he made 137 appearances and scored a total of 36 goals. I think he would have been most fondly remembered for the 1-0 winner at Anfield back in 1999. Yeah. It took another 22 years, nearly in 2021, when Richarlison scored during the COVID.
That's it. Yeah.
So he'll definitely be remembered in Toffee's eyes. But what a striker he was, and he gave superb service to Arsenal and Everton in his prime, really. Just a few more stats before I move on to my 3 guests. He also played for Leyton Orient. In 1989, it was only a loan appearance. He made 16 appearances, scored 9 goals. 89 to 90, another loan spell with Leicester City. 11 appearances, 5 goals. 95 to 98, he played for Nottingham Forest, 77 goals, scored in 31 appearances. 98 to 99, Trabzonspor, 18 appearances, 5 goals. And then he went on loan then in 1999 to Everton. 8 appearances, 9 goals, which was really quite incredible. It kept Everton literally up on that season. 99 to 05, as I said, 137 appearances, 36 for Everton when he signed permanently. He moved on to West Brom in 05-06, making 45 appearances, scoring 6 goals. And he ended his career then in 2006-07, 19 appearances, scored none for Cardiff City. His son Tyrese Campbell plays for Championship side Stoke City. He's having a good career. And we also know Kevin Campbell towards the end, particularly the last 2 or 3 years, for working as a pundit for Sky Sports. I don't want to come to you, Richie, since you're our special guest and you were on back in September, but being this special tribute show, your memories of Kevin Campbell as an Everton fan.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I was really devastated when I woke up on Saturday morning and found out about the news. I hadn't known that he was actually he was short illness, I think, but I hadn't heard anything. Usually, like Super Kev, as he was always fondly known, would have been very close to Everton and in and around the club, and generally, being on forums and all that kind of stuff, you'd sort of hear something that he wasn't well or whatever. But so I was genuinely shocked when I heard the news on Saturday morning. But obviously, first and foremost, my biggest memory and the biggest impact he would have had at Everton was obviously when he came on loan from Turkey. And I suppose, like, when you kind of look back on it, it was kind of like it was an excellent deal for the two, because he kind of wanted away from Turkey. I think he'd obviously fallen out, I think, with the chairman over there, who'd made some outrageous racist remarks about him because he wasn't scoring goals or whatever. And he came to us on loan. And at the time, I remember, there was a lot of sort of bemused sort of fans wondering, what's Kevin Campbell going to do for us? It was Walter Smith that actually got him on loan. And he came in March, I think, of '99. I was actually living over in London at the time. And as you say, he played those 8 appearances for us. And like, we were looking at the usual Everton stuff. We were kind of relegation fodder. So he came in and he didn't, like, single-handedly turned our season around. Like, there's absolutely no debate about that. We ended up kind of finishing safe enough, mid-table mediocrity as per usual. But like, above all anything else, that, like, first and foremost, he was absolutely a gentleman, apart from what he was doing on the pitch. And I think, like, it always kind of stuck. Like, he got Everton, he got that whole type of, the culture around the club, and the people, the fans, and all that. So really sort of miss him now. But that actual year, when I was living in London, I got up to see him against they were playing Charlton, and it was in April, I think, in '99, up in Goodison, and we won 4-1, and, like, they were struggling as well. And he got 2 goals that day, 2 great goals. So was delighted that I got to see him in the flesh, as they say. But, like, the one thing I would sort of always say about Super Kev is that, with all our sort of near misses with flirting with relegation, you always had 1 or 2 people that would have sort of come out of that. So, like, actually playing for Charlton that day was Graham Stewart. So Graham Stewart used to obviously got the last goal on the last day of the season against Wimbledon to keep us up, and he became, like, a big ambassador for the club. But for me, anyway, in my personal opinion, like, I wouldn't have as much fondness for him as Super Kev. Because he single-handedly, as I was saying, just turned our season around that year, and we were fit to go down. But yeah, so they're my memories of him anyway. He was a great player, but a gentleman off the pitch. Like, he used to always go to Everton games. You'd see him walking down Goodison Road, mingling with the fans, and they'd all be mobbing him and singing Super Kev and who put the ball in the red shites now. All those kind of. So So fantastic player, but a gentleman.
What was your memory, Richie, of that 1-0 at Anfield that night? Do you remember clear as day
Well, it's not probably. It's probably worse to wear for drink afterwards. But yeah, it was, well, to be honest, it's the usual sort of pessimistic, like he's scored after 4 minutes. It's going to be a long night. But in fairness, they held out, and but little did we know it would take another 22 years before we got a result at Anelfield.
So then you have to, the Everton fans have to treasure memory so tight, don't they? Because it takes years to replicate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just before I move on to Eamonn and Matt, Richie, would you have seen him a lot in the flesh at matches? Would you have seen him a lot?
I saw him a few times, but like as I was saying, that Charlton game would be the one that stood out for me because he got the 2 goals, and it was, you know, it was the absolute, you know. We had to do it, obviously in the last few games to turn it around. I saw him like for a few seasons afterwards. He started, in fairness to him, he started kind of picking up niggly injuries here and there. And then when Walter Smith went and Moyes came in, Moyes kind of changed to a more of a 4-5-1 with sort of Marcus Bent, I think at the time, kind of sort of playing up on his own. So kind of slowly but surely sort of Kev got sidelined, but no, absolutely cherish the memories and cherish the players. So you know, he meant a lot to Everton fans, or any Everton fan that's worth their salt anyway.
Yeah, he got a great tribute from Everton fans on social media, Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, on Saturday, really devastating news. I thought he would have pulled through, but sadly he not. I don't want to come on to Eamonn Donnelly, another lifelong Gooner. You would have seen him plenty of times in the flesh, like Matt. Your memories of Super Kev, Eamonn?
Well, I'm just looking at the amount of games he played for Everton. There's a bit of a synergy between Everton and Arsenal, because you're not them, right? So, but Kevin played about as many games for Everton as Mickey Arteta played for us, and both of them. And I think this says a lot about both men. They're legends of both clubs. Yeah. So let's start there, right? And it's not many players that do that are legends of more than one club, you know. But the first thing I'll say about Kevin, he was one of the Arsenal drilled into this working class South London thing in the 80s, and they picked up Mickey Thomas, David Rocastle, Kevin Campbell, all from within a square mile of each other. You know, and the first challenge Kevin had with the Arsenal in terms of trying to break into senior football was to see off Andy Cole, right? Yeah. Andy Cole and himself were pulling up trees in the youth teams, and the Arsenal made a decision that they were going to have to let one of them go because they already had Alan Smith, Paul Merson, you know, up front. And they let Andy Cole go, and you saw what a goal scorer he went on to become. But Kevin was rated that highly at the club that they let Andy Cole go. So that's a comment on his talent. I think Kevin suffered with the Arsenal when we got Righty in. Yeah. You know, and I mean, look, Righty's a legend. 185 goals and less than in 288 games. Come on, you know. But I think with the style of play, Kevin and Righty needed to play down the centre of the pitch, and there was only room for one of them to do that, you know, because you had Alan Smith as well, who was a terrific footballer. And even Alan Smith, if you ask him about the Arsenal post 91, when we won the league in 89, Kevin hadn't broken through yet. In 91, he played 25 games. And when we really looked like the dog's bollocks of a team that we're going to dominate English football. But Rocky got injured at that time in 91, and as Alan Smith has often said, back in those days we were quite narrow. And I think Kevin suffered because, like, Righty was top dog, played in the centre, got loads of goals. Kevin was shunted out to the right. And I was looking at the back on the seasons. His most prolific season for the Arsenal was 93-94. When we were narrow and we were struggling in the league. We won the Cup Cup that year, and he was a big part of that. Scored a massive winning goal against PSG. But he played 51 times that season and got 19 goals. It was his best season, right? But he was mostly on the right-hand side, because I looked at the other stats. Alan Smith played 41 times that season, and Wrighty played 47 times that season. So Kevin wasn't in the middle, and he still turned around with 19 goals in 51 games. But I think he did suffer in terms of his natural habitat was a bustling centre forward. Very muscular, very strong, very quick. His touch wasn't great, but because he was so powerful, it didn't really matter.
He was able to pull through.
He was able to kind of bludgeon goals. Goals. Yeah. And if you look back on the old Arsenal videos at that time, after we won in '91, and they're interviewing Dave O'Leary, and he says, as I say, at the end of the day, and thank God I don't have to mark a Rambo like a young Rambo like him every day, as I say, and get on with it. So Dave O'Leary would have been training with him and said, Jesus, this is a young man's game. Dave was coming to the end of his career at that time. All of the power. It just went a little bit wrong for Kevin, but it went wrong for the Arsenal as well. If you look at when Rocky was irreplaceable.
Was Niall Quinn there as well?
No, Niall Quinn was gone at that time. Niall Quinn went in 1990, right?
1990.
But what I'm saying is that when Rocky got injured, in '91, and we sold him off, look who we replaced him with: Jimmy Carter, Eddie McGoldrick. They weren't wide players per se, and the Arsenal were very narrow. We became a cup team, and I think just Kevin's best years when we were in decline, but he was a terrific player for us. The other thing I'm going to say is, and Richie referenced this, if you read Amy Lawrence's tribute in The Athletic, she talks about what a warm person he was, that he woke up like a positive person every day and shone a light. And I look back at, and we were talking about this before we came on air, Jonathan, and I'll finish on this. My team was the 1971 team, age 5.5. That's how I became a Gooner. We've lost two of those, George Armstrong and Ray Kennedy. And from the 1991 team, 20 years younger, we've now lost two of the most gentle, warm-hearted, kind-souled people that you could ever meet as footballers, David Rocastle and Kevin Campbell. And it's really, really sad, And the point I made a little bit earlier, it's very, very seldom that a player becomes such a legend with more than one club.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about the likes of Pat Jennings here. A legend with two clubs. Kevin Campbell, I know he loved Everton, and Everton loved him, but he also loved the Arsenal, and we loved him. And I just it's really, really sad. I'm getting a bit emotional here, but it was just sad. Okay.
Yeah. That was a really nice tribute from yourself, Eamonn and Richie. I really feel for Ian Wright as well. Losing, David Rocastle back in '01, and now another mate of his, Kevin Campbell. And we all know how Ian Wright gets very emotional. Being an all-round nice guy, and when you look at Campbell, Rocky, and Wrighty, they're very alike, aren't they, in every sense? Personality, and playing style, and it's good mention, because we lost Josie Antonio Reyes there in 2019 as well. But it's great. It really is. It's refreshing to see the footballing family, regardless of who you support, come together when, a player sadly loses his life. You realise how really well liked you were, even from opposition fans. It really is a nice touch. I'll come to you, Matt Bourne. You're like yourself and Eamon and Richie.
Yeah.
You would have seen him a lot more than I did. Your memories of Super Kev?
Yeah, listen, I don't think I can add that much more to what the lad said. You know, it speaks for itself. The fact that our two great clubs, and they are two great clubs, no matter how many relegation battles you're involved in, Richie. You know, no, genuinely, you know, the history of the English Football League will tell you, you know, what great clubs we are. You know,
Yeah.
and certainly, you know, I would only associate Kevin with both Arsenal and Everton. It's very easy to look through his stats and see, you know, he played a bit in Turkey and he played for West Brom and Cardiff and a couple of other sides as well. But he'll only ever be remembered for Arsenal and Everton.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah.
And he was a gentleman. I did have the pleasure of meeting him on a couple of occasions. And, you know, he's the same age as I am. You know, almost the same age as I am, and he's gone. And it's absolutely heartbreaking to see. A phenomenal player. You know, he joined, or he obviously came up through the ranks. I think he joined Arsenal as a youth, or as a youth back in 85, 86, thereabouts, maybe 85. And he came into the squad in that era where we hadn't won a title since 71. And we had just won it in 89. He didn't get any game time then, but in the early 90s then, we won a title and a Cup Winners' Cup and League Cup and an FA Cup. So he was part of that same team that Rocky was involved in, obviously, and Michael Thomas and Paul Merson and Anders Limpar came in then as well.
Anders Limpar.
You know, and he's another Everton man as well, obviously. Yeah. You know, so there is a great connection there, and I think there's only the only two clubs in England that players always have a very, very strong connection with, even after they leave, would be Arsenal and Everton. You know, there's no other clubs give you that, give you what Arsenal and Everton will give you. And it's a great tribute to both clubs. Like Eamon said earlier on, you know, Arteta, in the same sense, Everton and Arsenal at heart, and beautiful to see, but absolutely heartbreaking to see this happening. It all seemed very, very sudden, and like Eamon said, you know, two of that squad now are now gone, and Ian Wright's lost some very close friends, unfortunately too. You know, it really is heartbreaking, and I don't know how much more I can add to it. You know, the lads pretty much said it all. You know, everybody's very cut up about it. We hope we don't have to do another tribute show anytime soon, because it really is absolutely tragic. And I'm sure next season there'll be some great tributes from both Everton and Arsenal when they play each other, you know, for Kevin. And it'd be lovely to see. So
yeah, we all hear when we're at the Emirates, the Rocky song, around the stadium, and we'll certainly hear one for Super Kev Campbell at both the Emirates and Goodison Park, no doubt.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Could I ask you, Richie, your favourite goal of Kevin Campbell that you remember most?
It's the Liverpool goal. Definitely.
It was a cracker though, wasn't it? As you said earlier on, his shots were ferocious, weren't they? He hit them with such power. Yeah.
But as Eamon was saying there, like, you know, I mean, he wasn't sort of, let's say, technically gifted.
Yeah.
But he just, every game, week in, week out, give you 110%. He wasn't particularly adept in the air either, but he, as you were saying, Eamon, he just bludgeoned goals. He bullied centre backs, and he was able to sort of bring his momentum through, eke out a chance, finish. That's all you want, you know.
And no histrionics of him, Richie, either, you know. He could thump you and be thumped. You know, just got on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely goal against the red shite. That's it for me. Super Kev.
I have to. I admire Richie wearing the Everton colours as well there tonight. The blue and white. Everton tonight.
I don't wear red. I actually do not wear red.
Like we don't wear white. I'll never surrender that flag.
Funny, I've known Richie a long time, and now to say that, and I've drank with Richie on many occasions, and I think we're due to meet in a couple of days. Looking forward to that. But you're right. I've never actually seen you wear any garment on red. You know, in fact, I've even stayed in hotel rooms with you, and I've never even seen red jocks. You know, nothing. Nothing.
Can't do it.
I take it the Ibis Hotel is off the cards since their names.
I just anecdotally to tell the listeners, I brought Richie over to with the Arsenal group back in the old Blackstock days, man. You know, when we used to get lock-ins, we used to go away for 2 days at a time.
Jeez.
And it was the season Mesut Ozil had signed, and we were going really well. And we were thinking, you know, if we win this game, we go top of the league, blah blah blah. But Everton equalised late on. We got a late goal, Ozil, and remember Gerard Defoe. Yeah. And Richie he was Eamonn was, and as a respectful guy, he didn't want to do anything that was disrespectful because Everton scored. So all he did was he got up off the seat and just leaned forward as if he had a bad back. You could see his jaw. And it was when we came out of the ground, we met all these Everton fans coming out. Devil, you is magic. You know.
Shout out to Julio. It was a great goal, actually. It was a great goal.
It was actually, yeah. That was 1-1 that game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He scored it in, and I think that was around the 83rd minute. Yeah, it was near the end. Yeah.
I was there. It was exactly the 83rd minute, Jonathan. It was exactly the 83rd minute, you know?
Yeah, I knew. That's when I was crying into the pines. That was the game. To be honest, Everton were all over. Ross Barkley had a stormer that day, actually, if I remember right. Yeah, what a player. Your favourite goal, Eamonn, of Kev Campbell that he can...
Well, there's two that stand out. We were playing a very insipid game against Spurs, and we couldn't get going at all. And all of a sudden, a long ball was pumped down the middle, and Kevin bludgeoned two defenders out of the way. And in a game that was going nowhere, he got between the two central defenders and just bludgeoned it into the goal. That was Kevin. But the header against PSG that put us into the final is my favourite. You know, it was a glancing header. Richie's right. He wasn't a big Duncan Ferguson or like that could kind of climb, and you know, but he was actually very deft with his head. He wasn't a great climber that he'd get up over everybody, but he had a big strong neck on him, you know, and he could turn the head, and he got a great goal that night. It was really good, you know, and that was a great night at Highbury, actually. I was at that game, you know.
Yeah, he wore the number 7 jersey with real pride, and many an Arsenal player has turned into a legend wearing that, our very own Chippy Brady, to mention one. Matt Bourne, your favourite goal or moment even?
I think it was on Saturday. I just went looking up some highlights of him because you want to refresh your memory on some of the goals he scored, and they start coming back to you then, you know. But there was a couple of goals. There was I think it was a game it was in Europe against Benfica. We lost the return leg, but he scored an absolute cracker in the first leg. And against Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was. I think it was 1-1. It was late in the game, and who passed the ball through to him? Was it Limpar? But it was an absolute cracker of a goal. Listen, look, he scored 60 goals for Arsenal. He set his stall down as he was never prolific, but he was tough as fucking nails, and he'd give you his all every game, no matter where they fit him into the squad. And he scored some absolute cracker goals. Like Eamonn said, that header against PSG was superb as well. He was absolutely fantastic, and he will always be remembered by both sets of fans, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I have to say, three cracking tributes, lads. from three of it. Arsenal.
I think, can I just say, he's also, from what I can gather, I think he's up there in the top 5 of the all-time Everton Premier League goal scorers. Richie.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
God, I didn't know
Well,
that.
we've never been that prolific ourselves. You know,
No, I know, but I mean, still,
It wouldn't be hard.
he's
He's
good
up
company, you know?
He's up there with Stuart Barlow. Jigsaw.
fucking Barlow. Yeah.
Not Ken, no, Stuart.
Yeah. But
You see, many Richie is coming off.
he wore the old the number 9 as well, you know, and like obviously many's a famous Evertonian has worn them in the past. Yeah. All of them.
Even Franny Jeffers, Fox in the Box.
He did, but then we offed him down to yourselves.
Another Arsenal Everton legend, you know.
Yeah, I know Kevin Campbell. Look, what a legend! Yeah, gave many an Arsenal and Everton fan many great moments to cherish. And sadly, it's only when someone passes that you remember them moments even more. You know, and yeah, it was really sad, I have to say, on Saturday when I saw that. You know, on Sky Sports News, but it'd always be a legend, and I'm sure Arsenal and Everton will dedicate something to him. In their grounds, you know, I'm sure there'll be something there come the start of the season. Kevin Campbell, 1970 to 2024. May he rest in peace. A superb tribute, lads. Thanks. I just want to briefly mention the 24-25 fixtures were released today. I just want to throw out a few matches of importance for ourselves. The North London Derby dates are September the 14th and January 14th. Man City is September 24th away and February 4th at home. And I thought because Richie's on our show,
April the 5th.
April the 5th and December the 14th. I know how much he looks forward to those games.
Well, I think I'm heading over to the Arsenal one at Goodison. Yeah, so
lovely. Surprisingly, it's not the last game of the season. How shocked are you with that one?
I know, yeah. Usually always get you on the last day of the season.
It's the only time you sit beside
absolutely batter us.
Just while we're in obituary mode, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And given that we're all Dublin lads, you know, and there's no Fingless Austrians on the show tonight, or American guys. There's one other guy we should pay tribute to, and that's old Mr. Brennan. Joseph Brennan of Brennan's Bread there passed away a couple of weeks ago. The founder of Brennan's Bread. Monday's child is fair that days. Tuesday child is full of great. Richie, what did you think of old Mr. Brennan?
Today's bread.
Yeah. So man, Joe Brennan, he founded Brennan Bread in 1972, and he passed away there a couple of weeks ago. So, Mr. Brennan, big part of the Dublin community, Mr. Brennan's Bread. Yep.
Nice.
Many a fine ham sandwich went down to the old gullet thanks to Joe Brennan. So may he rest in peace. I don't think I'll see another slice of bread like it again. Just like to mention our first 3 matches before we finish. It's August the 17th, Wolves at home. I'm sure Matt and Eamonn will try to be there. August 24th versus Aston Villa away. Sadly, we have to look at Emery again. And August the 31st, back at home against Brighton, who are under a new manager as well. So, winnable games, but we'll talk about that again in our preview in August. But I'd just like to thank Richie White for coming on tonight, for your thoughts and memories of Kevin Campbell. It's much appreciated, Richie.
No problem, thanks.
Eamonn Donnelly, great memory shared, Eamonn, and a really nice tribute to him. Thanks very much, pal. And to Matt Bourne, thanks for your memories of Super Kev.
Cheers, pal.
He sadly missed it amongst the football and family, but always remembered and never forgotten. As I just to finish the show, Elevate events, Friday, August the 9th, go to universe.com for tickets there. Martin will take up the graphic there to how to get tickets. But you can catch the show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and Spotify. But from the three of us, thanks very much, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Cheers, lads.
Take care.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Thank you.